I would buy. I know this sounds like bullshit. I know this sounds like nonsense, but I would buy one of two projects. I would buy RBX because I know for a fact I've seen the guide. We're building shit. Hello, there we go. Yeah, I would buy two things. I would buy RBX because I know we're building stuff. I know we're doing a good job. And the second thing I would buy is I find a really neat project that integrates checkouts into websites for crypto. They've got a good team and a good product, so that would be my second investment, depending on the state of the market. I mean, I do reserve the right to take the 10,000 and run.
I, I mean, I'm kind of with Phil. I don't want to be biased, but I wouldn't be with RBX if I didn't think that we're doing like the best stuff around. So, I mean, obviously, I would invest it in RBX. The, I mean, since the bull kind of ended and we've been in a bear, there's not been a ton of projects. I mean, I have a lot of confidence in our clients, obviously, and there's a few of our clients that I would probably invest some of that in, but the majority would be with us. So, I mean, a little bit of a biased opinion, but
I
Hey,
once
fair enough.
I used to work in traditional finance, and I was once asked that question at an interview. If I had £500,000, what would I invest it in? And I think possibly the smartest thing I ever said on the hoof, I said I would buy a crematorium because you're guaranteed business and there'll be no cancellations.
Oh gosh. It is a very secure business model, that's for sure.
Very secure business.
The boring businesses
Guaranteed trade.
Yeah, for real. Those boring businesses, man, those are the ones that make people a lot of very consistent money. It's not easy to go out of business doing something like that. But yeah, no, definitely not as fun as what we're doing here. But no, I'm definitely with you there. Yeah, next bit I got, and really the only other question I want to get to, what do you think the place, and it relates a little bit to the space we went through yesterday. What do you think the place for tokens and NFTs will be in the future? 10 years down the line, what do you think will be that kind of place that people either own or sell or trade or that kind of thing?
I actually I did a bit of reading and watched some content over the Christmas period about this very question. And it was incredibly interesting. The panelists and the people who I was reading were saying, look, internet used to be read only, and then around, let's say, to late 2008, 2009, it became read and write. And now the next phase is read, write, and ownership. And actually, they were of the opinion that's the I guess compelling use case of NFTs, the metaverse, and everything is the ability to have verified permissionless ownership of assets in the space. And actually, I think that's a tremendously powerful thing, isn't it? You look at applications not just confined to digital images or songs, but you look at things like electoral medical records, electoral. I can't say that fucking word. Sorry about that. I think you know what I mean. Electoral identity, medical records, and so I think there are definitely real world applications that can only benefit.
Yeah, I love that answer, and it's really funny because I was just talking about with X actually here in the audience. We were just on a call a little bit ago, and I kind of was going through the whole like phase of Web 1 to Web 2 to Web 3 and the differences. So that is actually really, really funny that you touch up on that right here.
It's interesting.
Matt, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, it's just interesting, isn't it?
Definitely. It's a fascinating topic, and I think the future, I mean, honestly, like we didn't think Web 1 would develop into Web 2 into Web 3, so we might be completely surprised in 5 years by, what everything is kind of changed into. Mac, how about you, man?
So if you could actually repeat the question, I was
Yeah. So what do you think?
I was in a Telegram, so
Oh, no worries. What do you think the place of tokens versus NFTs will be 10 years down the line?
I mean, it obviously depends if NFTs kind of develop into something more than they are now. Like I know there's NFTs that are more than just a picture that you own, but I think tokens will probably always have a little bit more utility, and I think NFTs will probably go more hand in hand with tokens than the other way around. So I think NFTs will be able to supplement tokens, but I don't think they'll ever kind of take place of tokens.
Interesting. Yeah, there's a lot of people in the DeFi space that share that opinion. I definitely see that a lot on like this side of the Web3 world. But yeah, it definitely makes sense. So let's go ahead and let's kind of take a little pivot. Austin, if you had any comments, go ahead, brother. But otherwise, let's take a pivot into who you guys are, what you guys do for RBX, and then we'll dive into RBX afterwards.
Sure thing.
You want go on, Phil?
Well, my name's Phil. I'm sure you can probably guess from my accent. I'm from Ireland, so I will try and slow down for you all. So my background is in traditional finance. I worked in venture capital for a number of years, and was an entrepreneur myself in more boring sectors. Worked a while in nanomaterials and enterprise software, and finally found myself working with an incredible team at RBX. I wanted to learn a bit more about DeFi specifically and the whole crypto space. And thankfully, I lucked out and found incredible builders, people who are not meme token holders, people who are making real tech and hopefully helping to shape the future of the sector. Oh, and finally, sorry, I'm the biz dev guy.
Perfect. How about you, Mac?
Well, so I don't know if you can tell by my accent, but I'm I'm from the U.S., a little more southern. So I'm actually from Tennessee. But so as far as background, I was actually in college, trying to get my computer science degree, uh, and then kind of stumbled into crypto, and actually I just ended up being an investor in it was Rocket Bunny at the time, but ended up getting along with the team. Kind of pulled me on board a few months after we launched, and been with them ever since. And I mean, that's basically the background of it. Just I'm as far as my title, I do operations and management, so just kind of everything that needs to get done, I do. Paperwork, that's a lot of it.
All the fun stuff.
Yeah, all the fun stuff.
Awesome, man. Sounds really cool. Really cool. So Tennessee, semi local to anyone here in the US, but yeah, really cool stuff, guys. I think the experiences are really important as far as like team goes. A lot of people don't pay attention to that, so I like to get to know you guys and your backgrounds a little bit more. But let's dive into RBX. Let's start off with that like description you give to everybody, and then we'll dive into a little bit deeper on what you guys do afterwards.
Yeah, sure. So the description we give to everyone, we made a decision a while ago. Obviously, the most important thing in the space of DeFi is the transfer of digital capital, and that's what we do really well. Primarily, we've got what we consider to be the best decentralized exchange on the market. Once people try our DEX, they tend to stick with, because it is good, it's faster, it's cheaper and easier to use. It swaps across more chains. And yeah, I mean that's our flagship. That's, I guess, in our DNA as a company. That's what we do. But we've also got along the journey, as I said, we've been building. There's been a bear market the past while. We've just used that time to build, and we've come up, we've deployed a bunch of ancillary products that are very much designed and geared towards the DeFi space. Things like staking contracts, bridging services, and on top of that, we're actually, we're about to launch a really cool peer-to-peer product that is really quite exciting. I can't tell you too much in case I get murdered by our guys, but it's going to be an industry first. It's something we're very, very proud and excited to be a part of. And yeah, that's what we do. Best decks on the market, and we also provide all the tools that projects need to really thrive in the space. We've got a launch pad there, and what that is really an opportunity for tokens or projects to launch a token, but to do it safely, right? Not to make rookie mistakes that many companies do. It's safety. Launching it in a controlled environment. So yeah, that's a synopsis of what we do and where we're at.
Yeah, so really focusing on pretty much anything decentralized, right? Anything that has a decentralization aspect. You guys are trying to bring those tools from the centralized world into the decentralized one. At least that's what, looking in from the outside, that's what I see.
Exactly.
Yeah, that's
and
a big focus. Sorry, Mac.
no, you're good. I was just saying exactly. Our motto's 100% unrestricted, uncensored, and 100% decentralized. So right now the website and everything, it is hosted by us, but the long term goal is to get everything on IPFS and make it last as long as the internet's around. So we don't want anything ever able to be taken down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I think you said
definitely makes sense.
The cockroach of Dexes.
Yeah.
You guys are coining that slogan.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Yeah, good stuff, guys. Good stuff. So why don't we talk a little bit more about the origins of, you said that you started off with the decks and then this whole other suite of products is being developed on the other end. But let's start off with the decks. What makes your decks, in your opinion, kind of that go-to? Let's start with that value prop of the decks, and then we'll dive into all the whole suite of products afterwards.
I guess primarily our biggest USP is, we swap across over 19 chains, which is huge. It gives the user all the functionality they need in one place. They don't have to go to 2 or 3 different places to trade and to swap. It's also, in our opinion, we double down on it. We test, and test rigorously. We spot any flaws. We measure the load times. We look at transaction costs and how we can make that better. And we've also got some nice IP in there too. We've got proprietary swapper and quite innovative routing. So I guess it's a variety of things, but it's all the end user. We like to think when people use our decks, they don't go anywhere else. They don't go back to Pancake or the Uni or 1inch or anybody. They stick with us because everything we've built is focused on the end user, making their life easier. We've also got a couple of nice advanced features like Ape Mode and Ludicrous Gas, aimed at the more discerning trader. But ultimately, it's just ease of use. That's what we bring to the table. Everything focused towards the end user experience. Hello?
Hello, sorry about that. I think I was muted. I was gonna say, so yeah, I love the description there, Mac. You can go ahead and kind of give any extras if you have something, and if not, let's dive into that next product you guys have. I want to make sure everyone kind of gets that full picture of what it is the RBX is accomplishing and how.
Yeah, so the only thing I'd really add on to that is when we first started building all this, it was kind of, I don't know if I'd say our motto, but it was buy degens for degens. So, all the people on the team, we're all traders, and we know where all the pain points in DeFi were, and that's pretty much what we've been trying to fix with everything we do. Is this doesn't work well on this DEX. This is hard, like for the on ramp and everything. We know how tough it is to get money into DeFi.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what's been the basis of everything we built, is what would we like to see in the products we use, and that's what we build basically.
Yeah. That, it's funny you mentioned that. That is the biggest pain point that I've seen anybody have in the degen space and really just in the DeFi space, is how do I get my money in and how do I get my money out? And that's like a big concern with new investors and new people trying to just put a little bit of money in, is how the heck do I take profits in a way that means something to me, right? Because they're not in the total belief yet of, hey, yeah, it's gonna, crypto is gonna be the new wave, right, in the future. They're kind of like, how do I take profits and get it back into fiat? So I think the tool you guys, that pain point you guys are solving is really cool. If you want to touch a little bit more on that.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I joined the team as a relative crypto newbie. And I think the most important thing for me back then was peace of mind. I wanted to be able to invest in cryptocurrency, but also sleep at night, knowing that I could get my money out safely if and when I needed it. And I like to think at RBX, we're giving people that trust, we're giving them that confidence that they can do that in a safe environment, um, without having to go to multiple different providers, without having to do a whole lot of cross-chain swaps that are very complicated. We can do that all in one place, and to me, that gave me confidence as a relative newcomer to trading, being able to sleep at night, and that's one of the reasons that we've built our peer-to-peer product, which it gives traders, gives people the opportunity to um, sell their crypto for fiat directly into Cash App or PayPal or Venmo or one of those providers, and it doesn't require you to route that through a centralized exchange, for instance, which has had its ups and downs as an industry. Trust is diminished in those big outfits now. So yeah, I would say that's a core reason for us that we've built peer-to-peer trading software. It's because it allows people just to sleep that bit easier at night, knowing that without doing KYC, without going through banks or centralized exchanges, they can access their money quickly and easily.
Yeah, and I know you say that so casually. Like, I know you've been working out for a long time. So like, oh yeah, that's what it does. But if you are in here and you don't realize how big that is, like that is crazy. Like being able to off ramp, and on ramp as well, but on ramp funds from Venmo straight to your wallet. That is a luxury. I don't want to sit by my computer for like an hour trying to get money into my MetaMask. Like that's a hassle. It's a big, it's not a fun thing to do. So
It's nerve-wracking, right?
for me, it's the time. Like, even if I know the funds are going to get there, I just don't want to deal with going to Coinbase, purchasing my assets, transferring, or if you're on Binance, waiting the 10 days, then finally being able to offer. It's like, dude, this takes way too long. But no, that is a
Yeah,
big thing.
completely. And during that time, you're thinking, what if something goes wrong? You know,
I
where's my money?
absolutely love it. Yeah, I love that piece. Mac, do you have anything to touch on that? I want to make sure that we don't miss anything, but as we kind of go through all the products you guys got.
Yeah, and so we're Psychor will be in here in a little bit. He's our CEO, but he can kind of speak a little more to the tech side of it. But basically, so the way this will work, I mean, obviously peer to peer, so it'll go as fast as the person on the other end of the transaction will go. So I mean, anybody will be able to put up liquidity, so anybody can basically be a liquidity provider for this ramp. So whoever you're interacting with, it'll go as fast as they're able to, get the crypto into the escrow and then receive your Venmo or your Cash App or whatever your payment method is. And a lot of that with people is, so I mean, maybe people that are new to crypto won't mind as much, but I know a lot of people that have been in crypto a while are very, privacy minded. They like their anonymity, and with this, the only person who will know who you are or that you're getting crypto on or off the market is the person you're interacting with. We're not going to be keeping any of that data. There's no database anywhere of who's interacted with it, so it's all just between you and some other person.
Yeah, I love that. Um, is there a date set that you can let everyone know about for that release?
So we're kind of hesitant to give specific dates on pretty much everything we do because that everything
final
dev related can have holdups and just things that make it take a little longer. It should be done this week. That's
Okay.
and Sai might be able to give a little more specific of a date than that, but as far as I'm comfortable saying, yeah, this week is that's what we've been focusing on, and we got the beta released pretty we got the beta release last week, and we just been kind of testing and optimizing everything internally. So as
Mhm.
far as when the public will be able to see it, it should be this week, if not this weekend.
Gotcha. Now that's good stuff. Really, really solid stuff, guys. Really, really solid. So let's go through the next one. I know you guys got some trading pieces as well. So why don't we talk a little bit of those trading tools that you guys have?
Over to you,
Sure.
Mac.
Yeah, sure. I'll actually pull up our SaaS catalog so I can go through that a little bit.
Yeah.
So
Austin,
as far as
if somebody wants to share their screen, feel free to share your screen, of the site as you go through, or of any of this. Now you can do that in Discord, so kind of interesting.
Oh, okay. Yeah, if you'll give me a second, I'll pull that up and do that.
Yeah, go totally fine. I did
So
think it was really cool that they added that feature. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say, as far as trading tools, just all of our different products, or kind of the more nitty gritty of our different stuff in the decks, or
Yeah, I mean, honestly, go through the trading tools. I think that would be phenomenal. We got a lot of traders in here, so I think people are gonna be a little bit interested in that.
okay. And actually, it says I can't share my screen in this channel, so
You can't. If you have a site that you want me to share, I can. I might be because of
yeah, I was
permissions.
just gonna
Okay,
pull up
awesome.
RBX
I'm
DeFi.
sure. I got it, Chris.
Okay.
So I guess let's see. So we already kind of went over the cross-chain swaps. I mean, I'll go into that a little bit more. So usually, if you want to trade on different chains, you have to bring your BNB in or whatever you want to start as, and then go find a separate bridge, swap that over, and then go to another DEX. And you pretty much have to use 3 or 4 different sites to do one cross-chain transaction. So we kind of consolidated all that into one place. So it's if you want to, BNB to AVAX, you just go to our DEX, put that in, and boom, one click, you're on AVAX. So the bridge is kind of the same thing. It's like RBX. We have RBX AVAX, RBX ETH, and RBX BSE. So with that, you'll be able to just put RBX from ETH to AVAX BSE, whatever, one click. So OTC trades, that's kind of built into the peer-to-peer ramp a little bit. It's mostly just an over-the-counter market. It's open to anybody, so anybody can go on there and say, hey, I've got this amount of tokens. I want to sell it for this amount. Anybody can go take up the other side of that trade. And that actually, I'm pretty sure we added NFTs in there too. So it's kind of an open NFT market as well. If anybody wants to go up there and say, hey, I've got this NFT, I'd like this much for it, anybody can go pick up that other side of the trade. I'm just sorry, I'm getting pinged. Oh, Zycor's in here if you want to add him as a speaker now.
Sure. I'll pull him up.
I don't want to go through these too fast. I know these are like, this is just kind of my day to day and what I'm used to. So I know it's kind of like, oh, whatever, like this is the things we have. But if there's any questions about any specific ones, just let me know.
No, it's some good stuff. But yeah, touching on the trading tools a little bit more.
Yeah. So
Yeah, where do I go to for the trading tools?
it's just in products is what I was going through mostly. Most of those are the trading tools that are kind of built into the DEX. So limit orders, I mean, I would assume most people that trade know what limit orders are. You're on the launcher. It's just RBX DeFi is what I was going through, but
Oh, RBX DeFi. So it's just RBX.
it's that first tab you have open. And if you scroll down a little bit,
oh, okay.
Products.
Gotcha. Okay, sweet. Now we're cooking.
Did you tell them about ape mode yet?
I didn't. That's a good one to hit on. We got ape mode and ludicrous gas. So, for a fresh launch or whatever, you usually have to bump your slippage up super high, and if you want to get it through before everybody else, you have to bump your gas up a ton. So ape mode and ludicrous gas, it's a little toggle that does it for you. It's on our decks. If you go to the settings of our decks, there's just 2 little toggles that say ape mode, ludicrous gas. So that'll bump your slippage up. What is it, 50%, Sai?
Yeah, it defaults to 50, maybe 60. You can put whatever slippage you want. You can even put 100% slippage, which some people do.
That is so funny.
Well, it's some real degen stuff. Like when we first came out with that, Uniswap and PancakeSwap, they limited how much slippage you could put, I think, to like 40%, maybe 35. So we were one of the first, or the first, I don't know, to have where you could do unlimited slippage, and people loved that for launches. The ludicrous gas makes it so it just automatically doubles your gas cost. So it takes whatever it's costing now, just doubles it in price, and then that's one less thing you have to do in MetaMask. So then when you combine both of those together, it's like what, 2 clicks, you put in the trade, swap, and then approve, and then like you get in front of like 95% of people. The other one, whoever's going to be faster, it probably has a bot or a script. So people really like that for launches and stuff like that.
And yeah, I don't know if you can hear
I
it
just
through
want to
Austin's
say,
sound.
you guys, yeah, you guys literally were freaking me out because I thought somebody was on stage actually playing like a soundboard or something. Can you guys hear my screen like when it makes those noises?
I wonder
Like
what
when I
that
switch
was.
through this? Did you guys just hear that?
Yeah.
It's a little quiet. Yeah.
It's like, okay. I was like, is someone on here just randomly play? Like, did Discord integrate a soundboard now? Yeah. Okay, this is pretty cool.
So yeah, we've got the ape noise for ape mode, and then for ludicrous gas, it's a little clip from Spaceballs whenever they go ludicrous speed. So just
Yeah,
This is
that's
pretty
an
that's
awesome
the thing we
tool.
like. Dad jokes. That's a big part of RBX.
Oh yeah, on version 1 we used to have I think it was a database of 300 or 400 different dad jokes. So then every time you would go on there, it would just show you a new one. So we had people there like just refreshing the page just to get the new dad jokes and stuff. We ended up I don't know if we went through them all. I don't know if anybody has actually seen them all. We ended up taking it off. I don't know. I thought that maybe it wasn't serious enough, like putting stuff like that. Also, from a design perspective, it was kind of hard to stuff it somewhere. So it's I kind of removed that, but it's still in V1.
That is awesome. I think that's just phenomenal. Getting people to come to your site for the dad jokes. That's a really, really good thing. Let's dive into that next one so that so we can leave some room for questions at the end.
Sure. The next one, what?
The next. So went through some trading tools, went through the on and off ramp, went through the DEX. The next product in your suite of products.
Yeah. So
I think we're at limit orders. I'm not sure.
Yeah, the limit orders is I don't know, Mac. You were doing a great job. I don't want to like sabotage you.
No, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, the limit orders, it's they're gasless. For now, we actually don't get a lot of people using them. So right now they're only available on Binance, Binance Smart Chain. Although we've been having more interest on the Avalanche side. So it's just releasing on Avalanche has been kind of put on the back burner just because there haven't been that many people. But it's a typical limit order. We actually revamped how to place them so that it's more user friendly. At least I I think so, or I hope so. So people can all they have to do, the only transaction is to approve it. And they can put in, once they approve whatever token they're wanting to trade, they can put in as many limit orders as they want. They can cancel them and all that stuff, and it doesn't cost any gas. They just have to sign a message. So people do like that. So that's just like another part of, I guess, being a complete DEX. Did we hit the on ramp?
Oh, a little bit. We talked a little bit about it. None of us really wanted to get super in depth about it in case you wanted to keep some stuff kind of low key or.
Oh yeah. Yeah, so right now, so we have 2 on ramps on the site. When you go straight to the DApp, if you click the on ramp, it's basically an on ramper dialog. So the stuff that everybody's familiar with, you put in a credit card. I think anything past $250 requires KYC, and then that's just standard on ramping fare. The more exciting one though is our no KYC on ramp, on and off ramp. And the way that works, it's similar to just a regular on ramp, but the liquidity is sourced by right now third parties, just like a selected group of liquidity providers, and you can on ramp with Venmo, Cash App, PayPal in theory, although we haven't turned that on. And then what's the other one? Chime, Venmo, Zelle. Yeah. So basically, it requires no KYC. There's really no limit. Although most trades, most liquidity providers want to do it like $5,000 max, but you can do multiple trades. And it's all handled in the background automatically for you, and it just goes straight to your wallet. Right now, it's Ether. That's the main thing that you can on ramp, USDC as well. Although the liquidity is kind of light, so we're aiming to solve that, because version 2 of the ramp is coming out shortly. And by shortly, I mean like in the next few days, or the beta is going to be out in the next few days. And what that does is that it moves the on and off ramping completely on chain. And then it also decentralizes the liquidity so that anybody can provide liquidity to the on and off ramping, which gives people an opportunity to generate revenue, and just make money off of the fees. And then on top of that, since it's all on chain, it's all permissionless, they can use whatever payment method they want. As long as the whoever's providing liquidity supports it, right? So they'll just list out what they want or what they'll have available. So for users, it's kind of the same experience. They go on there, they select what they want to on ramp, and then in the background, our matching engine just kind of connects the liquidity provider to the user, and then handles the transaction in the background. The user just has to follow directions, which is typically send payment, to such and such person. All of it is escrowed, and there's several security measures to prevent griefing, first of all, and then also to make sure that you're dealing with people that aren't trying to screw you over. And we've had 0 problems actually, as far as like people having issues with it. It doesn't really lend itself to scamming. So far so good. And people really like it because they don't have to start submitting their driver's license, social security number, and stuff like that just to on ramp a little bit of Ether or whatever it is that they want. Sorry, there's a train by my office right now. So yeah, that's probably one of our more exciting upcoming releases. It'll be built into the widget that we've got as well, so people will be able to integrate it directly on their site. Our current partners and clients are really looking forward to it as well. So yeah, no KYC on ramp and off ramp, so that's fun.
Yeah, I love that. Do you know what the fees are going to be on that? On the once it is completely live?
Yeah. Well, right now the fees. So the fees are pretty much set by the liquidity providers. Just like any on ramp. Like even through OnRamper, MoonPay, Transac, I think is the other one. There's several. They typically will put a spread on whatever it is that you're buying. So it's the same spread more or less as that. Our matching engine basically gets you the cheapest spread. Well, it's a combination of the lowest cost spread wise, and then also reputation of the liquidity providers, in order to ensure the fastest transaction, basically. So I would say it typically hovers anywhere between 1 to 3% is the average. Sometimes, depending on what you're trying to on or off ramp, sometimes it can hit 5%. If it's something that's really illiquid, then it might be higher. But yeah, in general, that's kind of like what you're looking at. So pretty similar to everything else. Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah, super awesome stuff, guys. I definitely am gonna be checking that out as soon as it is live. I wanna kind of keep moving, and the only reason I say that is to make sure that we touch on all the products and then leave that little bit of time open for some questions, if possible. Sorry, I do not mean to rush you along.
No, you're good. We have too many things. We try to focus mostly on decks, when we're talking about it.
For sure. So what do we? Sorry, go ahead.
So you're saying like move on to the next product?
Oh yeah, if you're ready, or I wasn't sure if there was something else regarding this one that you wanted to touch on.
Oh no, it's a ramp. So the fun stuff is like for anybody that's technically inclined, like they're gonna, the details of it are really fun to talk about, but in general, people don't really care. But other than that it's secure and you don't have to provide KYC. But I would say that the next product, or like the next main thing that we're really excited about is the Forge. So the RBX Forge. That kind of, it's a bit of an umbrella because it covers our launch pad and something we call whale orders, where people can. Well, I'll touch on those. But the RBX Forge, it's like RBX Labs, right? So all the experimental and all the really fun shit gets released through the Forge. In the pipeline, we've got two different types of derivatives that are they're not like synthetics derivatives or GMX. They're like one of them is it's specifically a type of, or a new type of options contract that people may or may not want to trade. We'll find out. That's why it's called the Forge. And then another one, which is, it's kind of like I guess it falls in with like almost like a competitive trading type of financial contract. So this is all just like really experimental shit that we release through the Forge. So those will be live as soon as we get the peer-to-peer up and ready. Then it's pretty much game time as far as releasing the Forge stuff. And it also includes, or I guess now it does include the launchpad that we have. We right now it's permissioned, so like if you did want to launch, you'd have to reach out to us and stuff like that. But with the release of the Forge, there's going to be a DIY, so anybody can go on there and permissionlessly list whatever token they want. However, it does include different tiers, so you can do it DIY. That's great. If you want a little bit better performance, then it's automated. There's certain things you have to hit, like the types of liquidity, how much of it is locked, and stuff like that. And you get a score based off of that, and that gets listed on the listings. It kind of gives people a better intuition as to whether they really want to buy into whatever is listed. And then there's like the top tier, which is like a VIP service. You have like a doxed team. I wouldn't go as far as it's endorsed by RBX, but we definitely make sure that they're real people, that their business plan is sound, that there's like a reason for them to exist. Like this is stuff that we're all on the team side probably going to buy into, sort of thing. And not like in a degen sort of way, but in a, hey, this might actually turn out to be pretty good sort of way. So those are kind of like the main things you would need for the VIP listing. So that, I guess, technically falls under the Forge. It's not really experimental. It's all pretty standard stuff. But the twist that we add is, just more verification and the scoring system. Yeah, yeah, yeah. The Forge is what I'm probably looking forward to the most on my end.
Gotcha. You're like the on and off ramp. I've already done that enough.
Well, it's exciting. I just wanted to, like, the way it currently is. I don't feel great about it because liquidity is, we're sourcing it. We have agreements with third parties to provide liquidity, but they have to sleep. So sometimes it's not available and people can't do a trade, and there's a bit of centralized infrastructure involved, which I'm not a fan of. But we were just trying to get the product out like an MVP sort of thing. And then now, now it's gonna be how I want it, like 100% decentralized. Like we could just disappear and it'll still continue working, that sort of thing. So that's the exciting part.
Yeah, I like the thought there because, like, I remember the first call we had. You guys went on like and explained your ideas about what exactly it is you want to do. You want to be able to leave all your products and have them just run themselves and be completely decentralized. At some point in the future. I mean, it might be a little bit, but I think it's a really cool vision to have, and I think it embodies kind of the values you guys all hold for decentralized finance and where it's going.
Agreed. Yeah, we try to everything that we develop. That is like a core tenet that we have. Anything that gets developed, yeah, in the background to maybe speed things up, we might have some centralized, maybe a data source or something.
Yeah.
But it all falls back. Like if that data source dies, it doesn't matter because the fallback is all 100% decentralized. And that's with very few items. Right now, I can't think of anything. I think the referral dashboard is the only one. Yeah. Yeah. As it stands, everything can. I just have to. I got to do that one day. Upload it to IPFS basically. But it can. As it stands now, everything can run on its own, which is nice. Yeah. So we try that. That's why one of the things we mention on our site is like like unrestricted, uncensored. You've got dexes or exchanges. The like Uniswap, they literally have a set of tokens that are hard coded in there that you can't trade through their user interface. You can do it directly through the smart contract if you want, but you can't trade it on Uniswap. They also track IPs with your wallet addresses, and then they send that data to. I always forget the name of the company, but it's like this big data company. They focus on blockchain, and they basically tell Uniswap whether the person that's trading, if their funds are like, if it's risky funds, like, oh, did it come from a money laundering operation, drugs, a hack, like,
yeah,
so they will stop you from trading if that's the case, or at least on the UI. So we don't do any of that, mostly because it's a pain in the ass to do it, and also because I don't believe in that. So like, it's just a tool. So whoever's going to use it's going to use it regardless. So
gotcha. Yeah, no, I definitely agree. I think there's always in something. Actually, it's funny that we have these conversations now. Yesterday we had a Twitter space, and the topic was all about identity and digital identity and how those are, the future of what everything's going to look like. And I thought of like the fact that there's always going to be people that are trying to track more data, right, and try and track every move you make. But then there's also going to be that small subset of people that utilize tech to get around that. And some people use it for illegal things, others don't. Like if you think of things like the dark web, right, were created so that you don't have to worry about being tracked, and that's really where a big piece of digital identity being separate from identity kind of began, at least from my understanding. And so that it's an interesting piece, and not everyone's doing it, using it as something illegal. Some of it's like lack of trust in authorities that are managing the data, or whatever the reason might be. But it's interesting to kind of see the back and forth between the two.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, the dark web was the market's response to regulation. You know, you have these, and so is blockchain technology. It is the market. Like the main people involved are the users, like the people that do the transactions. That's where blockchain came out. One of the main tenets, and ultimately we all have a duty to ourselves and our peers and the country or countries that we live in, etc. Like if your government is doing something that is not right, then either you fight it or you ignore it and then use these different means to do it. People want to smoke weed. People want to drop ecstasy, acid, and marijuana tablets. So the darknet is there to fulfill that request, and it's going to happen regardless. So it's like a big middle finger to the government. And I'll stop there because I will just go on about anarchy and libertarianism and yeah.
Bro, I already know Cam is just cracking up in the audience listening to this. But yeah, no, this is I can definitely I see like the parallels between a lot of the digital identity stuff with with regulation, how things are going in the cryptocurrency industry, and comparing that to the beginning of the internet and how the dark web was formed and all that kind of stuff. So it's definitely an interesting thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you guys have questions, I would love if you guys would either feel free to raise your hand and we can bring you guys up here, or also go ahead and type them in the AMA questions. Either one of those works, depending on what you're comfortable with. But I'd love to answer some. Kurt has one. Are you guys worried about any government coming in after you due to the non KYC or KYC, going after that side of the product, for example, like going after Venmo or going after PayPal or something like that?
Yeah, that's a good question. We get asked that a lot, and honestly, we're just a platform. We're not out here. We call it no KYC unofficially. The official name is the peer-to-peer on and off ramp. Peer-to-peer marketplaces have existed for a long time, and they in the beginning there was a little bit of back and forth with regulators, but they seem to have found their footing and everything is fine. I guess they kind of just said, well, it's true, we can't do anything about it. Ultimately, we're just providing a tool to facilitate private commerce. Yeah, thanks, Dave. Yeah, come get it, fat boys. We're just providing the tool, and we're providing it in a fashion that even if they did come after, which I doubt that they will, mostly because they don't know who the hell I am, and then also, well, whatever. I'm not gonna spit in the wind here, but even if like regardless, it would still just continue working. So they're whatever they're trying to they would be trying to do is not gonna work because it's decentralized and it'll just stay on there forever. But also from a legal perspective, this is stuff we've gotten opinions on as well. We are not facilitating money laundering or tax evasion, anything like that. Because ultimately, if you're going to buy crypto with Cash App, Venmo, Zelle, well, you have the KYC on those platforms anyway, right?
Yeah.
You're just eliminating that additional party that wants your KYC. So, yeah.
And now you have to report all the payments on Venmo, right? You got to report anything. What is it, like $600? You got to report.
Yeah.
And to me, it's like more the. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, I think Cash App was doing 600. They just automatically send you a 1099 now. I'm guessing, that Venmo does the same.
Which is really, really unfortunate because, I mean, if you live with roommates, that is just a sucky situation. Because, like, realistically, right, that's very, like, I'd say a good chunk of people that use Venmo all the time are using more than $600 payments as just a way to pay rent or something along those lines, which shouldn't be taxed in the same way if you're just paying somebody back for their share of rent. So it's definitely an interesting one. But yeah. Anyways,
Yeah, I think that they want to most. All right, 10 seconds. I think
go
they
ahead.
most like their main benefit is that they know that most of that. I would say that they know that most of that transaction volume is not profit. It's not income, but they want to squeeze out as much as they can, first of all, and they also want to track as much as they can. Like with all these companies now, $600 a limit. Yeah, well, now they have this huge database of reporting that they didn't have before. So, data.
Yeah. Yep. Data is valuable. Data is super, super valuable. We've had a lot of chats about that with like Constellation and things. There's a lot of big companies now getting into the data collection industry, right? That's going to be a huge thing in the next 20 years. So it's super interesting to see. I mean, it already is, but it's going to continue to grow and scale it, at the rates that all these things are increasing. So it's super, super interesting stuff. Let me check to make sure we're not missing the next question. Austin, I know you had a couple questions if you want to go ahead.
Yeah, kind of like what Chris was saying at the beginning. I was actually having a little interesting conversation with him. I just came to the realization at the beginning of this AMA that I have not freshly on-ramped crypto from fiat since and this is just a really bad estimate, but like August, like maybe, like it's just been so long. Like I've just been either some of my positions I'm just holding, some of the rewards I'm just providing liquidity, I'm trading. I've never like put fresh capital into crypto in quite some time, and I'm starting to find a little bit of opportunities where I'm going to be doing that. So I have, funny enough, coincidentally, been looking at on ramps. So my first question for you guys is, what would be the benefit, or is the no KYC thing the only thing, or like what's your guys' competitive edge to compare yourselves to other on-ramping solutions? Like major institutions like Coinbase, Kraken, just the major places. Is KYC the only thing, or is there other ones that I'm not finding?
Well, there's a few. The KYC is, I would say, is probably the main thing. Like I mentioned, these typical payment services, because that's where most of the liquidity comes from. But in theory, you could conduct these on and off ramps using Western Union, MoneyGram, cash in person, etc. It's a lot more rare because there's more risk involved, but so that is one thing. The other part is, well, just again, KYC, a larger amount of privacy. But at the same time, because we're integrating since all this is widgetized, right? All of our products are meant to be distributed as far and wide as possible. We want everybody to use our tech if they want it. It's there. So when you go and you sign up for these, like let's say a project wants to put on one of these on ramps, it requires, or they typically require the website that wants to integrate that on ramp to KYC or KYB with them, and have an account with them, especially if you want to earn trading fees or on ramping fees from your widget. That's not a requirement with us, because of, well, the basic tenet there. But so that's one thing. The other part is that people can provide liquidity if they so choose. So that's an additional, source of yield that people can participate in. And then I would say that the final aspect of this, which is something that is not offered anywhere as far as I've seen, and I don't think that I have actually publicly mentioned this, but you can on-ramp native coins, so like Ether, AVAX, Matic, etc. But you can also on-ramp directly whichever token you'd like, which is cool. So you can do USDC, you can do SHIB, whatever. There's probably already on ramps with that, but any project can then provide liquidity to on ramp directly their token. So that's fun, right? Well, you can also do that same thing with NFTs. So people can on ramp directly into an NFT if there's liquidity there. If you hold a lot of NFTs, or are willing to purchase NFTs that you want to on ramp yourself, to this, you can provide liquidity or essentially a listing of saying, yeah, I am willing to pay cash, Venmo, Cash App, whatever, for any NFTs in this collection. So that is now a source of liquidity, and then vice versa. You say, I've got all these NFTs. It's of this collection. Got 100 of them. They're on there. People can then purchase them directly with any of those payment methods. And on the user side, the only thing they have to worry about is what do they want to buy and with what. They don't have to worry about looking at listings. It's all automatic. So I would say that those are just a handful of advantages. The wide distribution or potential distribution of the platform, and then just the, in essence, unlimited nature of what you can do with it or what you can trade with it is definitely an advantage.
Gotcha. And then my only other one, because I was looking through the website, you guys went through some changes, like name changes, brand changes, that type of stuff. Are you guys, as far as the security aspect goes, are you all KYC'd with anybody? Is there like security on file with you guys, or how does that work?
Well, luckily we don't, because all the tools and all the products are on chain. We haven't really needed to do much of that with our clients. Like publicly, we don't dox, just because of the nature of the industry we're in. But with clients, we, depending on the type of agreement that they want or that we want to conduct, we'll typically dox privately directly with them, just to make sure everything is on the up and up. We do have a corporate structure that we use for that as well from a legal standpoint. It's fashioned in a similar manner. Uniswap, is just a development house, not a, it's not a finance-based company or anything like that. So that that is typically how we do it. We haven't really needed to publicly dox or anything like that. Haven't really had many cries for that, which is fortunate, I would say. Hope that answered that.
Awesome.
Yeah, I would say a lot of it also just comes from we've been around for so long that our products
yeah.
kind of speak for themselves. We don't. I mean, who we are isn't really important at this point. It's if our products work and if they're safe, which they are. So.
Yeah, we haven't had anything getting taken or no hacks or anything like that, and we've been around for 2 years. So far, people haven't really. They see that and they just decide not to ask questions, I guess. Which I don't know how I feel about that, but yeah, track record's good.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a big thing. That's, again, I relate so much to the space we talked about yesterday, because it just seems so applicable to the pieces you guys are bringing up. But just like, I mean, if you look at the dark web, right, it's all it's all reputation based. Even if you're not giving your name, it's all based on the reputation of this person this digital identity you built up. And that's a big thing I think that's going to come into the decentralized finance space, that is a lot more based on reputation of your digital identity, because once you built something for 10 years, most likely you're not going to just completely, wasn't a 10-year long plan. Most people in that position don't have the patience to wait 10 years before either doing something malicious or something like that. So I think digital identity and how that ties into reputation is just really, really big.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but guys, really, really good stuff. Is there anything else that you wanted to touch up on before we wrap things up here?
Yeah, two things very quickly. I know that we're, I think, running over on time.
It's all good.
Well, first thing, just wanted to give a shout out to CryptoLink. I believe they're the ones that introed us to you guys. Cletus did, and we're working with them on our with our bridging and cross-chain solution to add them on as an additional liquidity provider. What Atlas has built is really interesting, and it's very decentralized. I do like what they're doing. And we're going to be running one of their validators as well to help secure their network. So just wanted to mention that and give them a little love there. The second thing is we are running. Actually, everything got minted, I think, but we're running these promotions called Operation Fuzz Factory. And from our roots as Rocket Bunny, we've maintained the bunny as kind of like a mascot for us. And then this year, since it's year of the rabbit, in the Chinese calendar, we've been pushing out a new promotion. It's on Galaxy, the platform Galaxy, and it'll be on a couple of others. But basically, we have a collection, like a real NFT collection that we actually worked on. It's not just like just some image or something. We were gonna release it. We did all the artwork and stuff like that. We just never ended up releasing it, the NFT project. So what we decided to do was to get that collection, and then you can't really buy it. You can only claim it, and then you can only claim it through these platforms. And you can claim one of these NFTs. Each one is individual. Actually, what you can a claim ticket NFT, then you would go to our site and claim the actual NFT, just because of the limitation of the platform. But the claim tickets actually look really sexy too. Like, we had our art guy do it, and he's fantastic. And then so you do the checklist, like, follow us on Twitter, join our Telegram, that sort of stuff. And then you get a claim ticket, and then you can go and then claim the individual NFT. I believe the total collection is 50,000. It sounds like a lot, but it's mostly because we wanted everybody to be able to have one. They're all individually unique, same as any other of these 10,000 NFT projects that are out there. And they are voxel representations of bunnies with different accessories and stuff. It's real fun. So we'll be we've released 2 like minor or tiny campaigns where you can claim a specific NFT. I think that they all got claimed out or minted out, but we can post a link.
Yeah, I'm actually posting the link to the Hop campaign. It's right now, I just had it up. This is kind of the one we were doing, like an intro to the site, just to get everybody familiar with it. Right now it's 730 out of 1,000, so there's still some hops that can be claimed. But for that, you literally just visit our site. So I'll drop that in the chat if anybody wants to just go get a free hop NFT.
Our roll NFT, which I made it live yesterday, I think in the afternoon. It was only 250. That got minted out within a few hours. So and then that's it. There's no more after that sort of thing. Those are not individually unique, but they are cool. It's a little tiny bunny in a sushi roll. It's really cute. But those are gone. I think people are listing already on OpenSea or have listed them. But yeah, that's like our major push. It's fun.
Yeah, that's something that'll be kind of interesting with these. With the Fuzz Factory, it's gonna have different tiers, so you'll have a base tier that's really easy to get. Then it's a gold tier, and then what is it, rhodium?
Yeah, there's blue, gold, rhodium, and carbon. Carbon is the top tier, and there's only 250 of those.
But yeah, you can list them on OpenSea, so hopefully the secondary market will kind of open up, because with these hop and the roll, there's already been some that have been posted on OpenSea, and I'm not sure if there's been any buying and selling of them. Is there volume?
Yeah, on the roll one especially, because that's its own individual NFT contract. The hop one is what they call an OAT, an on-chain achievement token or something. And that one, the contract is like one contract for everybody, so there's like tens of thousands. So that one hasn't gotten very much volume, but yeah, definitely the Volt one.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Well, super exciting stuff, guys. I'm glad we brought you guys on and chatted about this. Hopefully, if you guys are in the audience, you guys remember the on and off ramp. If you are looking at on and off ramp, some fun soon. You can check that out in the next couple days here. Hopefully, by the end of the week, they'll have it out. If not, then probably pretty soon after that. But anyways, guys, it was a pleasure bringing you on and chatting a little bit. Really appreciate you guys. And you too, PJ.
Same here, man. We do appreciate the time, and thanks for listening to us and to
Or
me.
rambles.
Yeah. No worries, dude. No worries. It was fun. It was a good time. I always like hearing. I think with you guys specifically, your guys' products just speak for themselves. So I like kind of getting to know you guys a little bit more, and I think people do in general want to get to know the team behind this a little bit more as well. But if you guys are in the audience, thank you guys for tuning in. If you guys got any questions, feel free to join their Discord or to go ahead, and you can do that by going to rbx.defi, right? I believe that is it.
RBX.
Yeah.
Dot what? Sorry,
RBXDefi.com.
rbxdefi.com. Gotcha. Sorry. Butchered it. But go ahead and check them out on rbxdefi.com, and you guys can join their Discord that way. Ask them any questions you got. But thank you guys for all tuning in. It means a lot. But we'll go ahead and call it here and wrap it up. Thank you guys.
Yep. Thank you. Appreciate it. I enjoyed it.